sometimes we have a guest visitor who helps me practice. And she hates it so much. You hate it. You hate it so much. Okay. Bye-bye. First, customary sip. Okay, so today is day 1 of my 1,000 hour practice. Super excited to get started with this whole process. So I have a warm-up routine that I do every day. I basically come into my office, I grab these sticks right here, and I have my pad right in front of me at my desk. And I sit here and I watch things and I just tap away. I do that for sometimes an hour. I do it for a long time. But it's passive practicing. It's not active practicing. So what I'm going to do today is I'm going to start writing down all the different types of exercises that I would like to do, and I'm going to share those with you. So there are a lot of great resources that you can use out there that already have these warm-up routines written out for you. And they're quite challenging. I know Tom Iago has the Hands for a Lifetime thing. And then there's also this book, The Drummer's Complete Vocabulary by John Ramsey. This is in the teaching of Alan Dawson. I actually studied with John Ramsey in college. And I kind of got through maybe half of what he calls the rudimental ritual. But I never actually mastered it. I never memorized it like you're supposed to. So I would like to start here, but also add to it. One thing that's missing from my practice is that I don't do the same things with my feet that I do with my hands. And this is something that really slows me down in terms of being able to manipulate and control my feet in any way that I want to. So everything I'm going to be doing with my hands, I'm also going to be doing with my feet, and that's going to be a part of my warm-up. Okay, so let's get started with the process of writing down everything that I want to do. I'm set up here because I want to start doing my warm-up exercises that I just spoke about. So I'm going to go through some of the things that I tend to do just naturally and currently. These are the things that I call comfort food, in the sense that I'm playing things that are very comfortable for me and things that I enjoy doing. They also feel good. So when I sit down at the pad, the first thing that I tend to do is I just do a lot of flams and a lot of singles and doubles. You get the idea. So sometimes I'll just start with just flams, alternating flams. And I'll do this for a while just to kind of loosen my body up, or my hands. You'll notice that my feet are not moving right now. I have a surprise for you in a second. Ooh. Then I'll do doubles, flam taps. I think that's what this is called. Notice that I'm not using a metronome right now. Part of this practice and warm-up routine is going to be to challenge myself with speed. I have pretty strong hands, but I do not have the strongest hands. And I see that manifest itself when I'm actually just playing. So if I'm practiced and I'm playing something that I've really worked on, then I don't see this problem as much. But if I'm just sitting at the drum set and I'm just playing and I record myself, I notice that sometimes my hands will have little hiccups in them. There's slight tempo deviations. Like if I'm playing like this, there might be like one hit in there that's not quite accurate enough. Those are the minute details that I'm trying to improve upon. On my sheet here for my warm-up, I did say that I wanted to do a countdown 20 exercise. That all countdown 20 is you do 20 in each hand, singles, and then you go to 19. Is that even it? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3. I apparently have a hard time counting. Maybe I should practice counting. 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, That's hard. It's actually really hard to do a 20 countdown because you have to stay really focused. And for me, breaking them up into smaller groups, which I didn't do before I sat down in front of this camera. I actually haven't practiced this. This is what we're doing. This is actual real practice that I'm doing for you right now. So I'm screwing up, and that's why we're sitting here. This also doesn't only warm up my hands, it also warms up my brain, which, as you know, my whole approach is mind and body. And in the mind part of things, one of the biggest things that I want to work on is counting, and also counting complex rhythms and not getting lost. Getting lost is very easy for me. I'm also good at finding myself, but getting lost is very easy. I do a lot of gigs where I actually have to read the charts. Sometimes I have a month to practice those charts, but sometimes I have 0 time to practice those charts, and I'm just showing up and essentially sight reading. And so I do need to, on the spot, sometimes play music and pray that I don't get lost. Sometimes I get slightly lost, but I don't ever completely screw it up, just a little bit. But I want to go into patterns, and for patterns what I want to do is I want to take out stick control, which you all should know. If you don't already, I can't see it back there. Sorry, the light's pretty bright. Now, this book has tons of patterns in it, and it's honestly just a reference book. What I'm trying to do now is I'm trying to get away from the first page, which is usually the page that we spend a lot of time with. And you can do so many different things with these different patterns. But what I was curious about trying to do is taking patterns from a few pages forward and combining them. And then what I do is I combine them with, I learn them in my hands, I learn them in my feet, and then I put them together. And then after I do those patterns here, then I go to the drum set and I try to work on these figures in very creative ways. Something that we've all done, but I haven't done this in forever, so it's, going to be good for me. I do want to take note that this is the original stick control book that my teacher gave to me when I first started taking lessons on the drum set. And I was fairly old when I started playing the drums. I was 18, but then I didn't start taking lessons until I was 19. And I played music in other instruments before that, so I was a very good reader. But this was kind of new to me because it was a different type of rhythmic reading and a different part of the brain that I used for drumming. To this day, I noticed that I can almost feel when I'm using, it's hard to articulate, but like if I'm playing the piano or if I'm playing, I used to be a saxophone player. If I'm playing those instruments, I can sight read melodies very, very easily and rhythms and whatnot. And there's a relationship that I have with what I see on the paper. With drums, that relationship is there, but it's different. It has a different feeling to it. So the only thing I can kind of theorize is that there is something different in my brain being used, maybe a different part of it, a different muscle is being exercised. I don't know what it is, but it definitely is different. Anyway, so stick control is the next piece of things. Let's just take a pattern like right, left, left, right, left, right. This is just an inverted parallel. Now, I'm going to play this pattern slow just to get it into my body. The other thing that I started doing right there is I started accenting the first note. Now that's fine, but I don't always want to do that. So actually when I do this warm-up, I want to make every note even. Like this. Because that's your basis, okay? And then what you can do is you can do what a lot of drummers do is they put accents over different parts of that pattern. Now I have something exciting. Now this might not be exciting to you, but it's exciting to me because it's been a minute, let's just say. Years ago I had a double bass drum pedal, and it lasted a long time. I still have one half of it, but it's basically shattered. So today I went out and I said, I need to make the investment because, yes, I need to make the investment because a lot of this practicing thing is going to be me learning some more advanced double pedal stuff. I haven't done this in a very long time. Whoa, check it out. Here's the rod. And I went with the Iron Cobra because the Iron Cobra pedal has always felt really good to me. And even though I have these fancy DW ones as well, they're all good. But I'm excited to get cracking on this bad boy right here. So now I can actually set up the pads and I can actually play the foot pedal and the trusty old pad, practice pad. So feet and hands, here we go. So I'm going to get this set up and we're going to crack away at this whole thing. And I'm starting to practice now. I think that's all I have for you today. I just wanted to go over a little bit of the warm-up stuff that I'm doing, and I'm not done talking about warming up and all the exercises I'm doing. This is just a sneak peek into the process. This week, the whole premise for this first week of practice is to kind of experiment. I'm considering this the laboratory week, where I actually just do a bunch of things, and some of those things may not be in the order that they end up being in, or I might not necessarily, practice all of the things that I will eventually get to. I'm just trying to find a lot of my weaknesses. I'm trying to articulate them, and I'm trying to make plans for them. So that is what this whole week is about. And if you are going along this journey whenever you're starting, you could be, this is 2022 now. You might be starting this journey in 2027. I don't know. My point is that wherever you're starting from, the very first week of your involvement with getting a really heavy practice routine is really just to experiment and to find out what works for you, and also just really, get in there and dive deep into what it is you are looking for, and then make up the exercises accordingly. All right. Thank you, guys. I'll see you tomorrow. I'm going to now get started with this whole practice. So I'm going to do, thank you guys. That's all. Thank you guys. That's all I have for you today. I'm going to now start hitting the practice routine up for today. I'm going to start with my warm-up, and then I'm going to go into some other areas that I don't necessarily know yet, but you'll find out soon enough. Or I will, I guess. Anyway, see ya. Okay, so I just set up the double pedal, and I've just been practicing for a few minutes here and just finding things, just playing, just experimenting like we talked about. And I put on the metronome, and I wanted to play double strokes in my feet rather. And I had it at 140 BPM, and this is the 8th note pulse. With that, I'm trying to go right, right, left, left, right. And so that's pretty doable. Still a little sloppy, but it's doable. It's not above my threshold. Okay? Then what I try to do is I try playing singles in my hands while playing doubles in my feet. And my brain freaked out, let's just say. So now the reason why I'm sharing this with you is because when I tried to do single strokes in my hands and doubles in my feet at 140, I fell apart. So the logical thing to do would be to slow the tempo down, which I did. I went to 130. And what I realized is that when you're playing an exercise that's new, it's best to do it in small pieces before you try just to go. Because what tends to happen is you fall apart pretty quickly. But if you prepare your brain in a slow, predictable manner, usually your brain will be able to keep up. It's kind of like, the old computers that can't edit your videos anymore. They can't process information that quickly because they're having a hard time keeping up. Their processors are slow. So if your brain is a little slower than you like it to be, here's what you can do. So what I do is I put this on and I play singles. Then I do the doubles, but I don't keep going. I just do like 2. And I'm doing that. Notice I'm not tempted to keep going yet. You're going to want to keep going, but just take your time. Let's add one. Okay. Feels good. Then add the 4th one. That's pretty good. I obviously went slower than 130 there, but that's the idea. Okay, so this is how you give your brain the chance to be able to successfully do what you're wanting your body to do. Don't forget, this has to process everything, the coordination. There's so much happening in our bodies right now to be able to do just this. What I just did for most drummers might be fairly simple to do, or it was challenging at one point, but if you practice it, it's not so hard to do. But if you just ask, your regular Joe Schmo person on the street to, hey, can you do this pattern? They probably won't be able to do it. So just being able to do this at 130 2 times, that is a huge success.